Hi everybody. So this is my first live for my new page, which is called The Good Enough Mum. So if you're watching this, if you're watching it on replay, thanks for taking the time and welcome to my new business. So I'm sort of wanting to come on today just to let you know a little bit of what I'm doing and what's made me want to start a new business up. So as many of you know, I've been working as a counsellor now for a number of years, and one of the areas that I work a lot in is working with mums, and in particular I get mums who come into this service and they're quite overwhelmed by what's going on in their lives at the moment. They've often got small children, they feel that they can't cope, and they don't know how to handle their lives. They feel completely overwhelmed by the demands of work and their children. They feel that they're really not good enough. So that's one of the things that I like to work with. And one of the reasons why this particularly appeals to me is because I really recognise that place, because I was one of those mums. And if any of you have watched my other videos, you'll have seen that I talk about the feelings that I used to have as a mum, about not feeling that I was doing a very good job. And what happened to me was when my children, sort of the oldest was about 10, I started to get involved in trying to make some changes in my life. So I started to go along, I went to an assertiveness course and met a lady there called Maggie who was leading the course. And then later on I went on to an introduction to counselling course. Then I went on to do my level 2 counselling and worked with Maggie again. And through this time, I was beginning to find out what was happening to me and how really I didn't feel that I was good enough. I sort of realised that was the problem. And eventually, on my journey to train as a counsellor, I actually had quite a lot of therapy. And it's taken me a long time really to work out what was going on for me, why I had all those feelings of not being good enough. And I really want to make a difference to women's lives, because what I found after I had my first lot of counselling at the end of my level 2 and the beginning of my level 3 counselling, it just made such a huge difference to my life. And the real difference that it made was that I started to have a different relationship with my children. Because I felt so much better about myself, it really had a knock-on effect on my relationship with my children. And that had a knock-on effect with the way that we related as a family. And everybody actually felt a lot happier. And that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'd really like to be able to share with people the lessons that I learned, and I'd really like people to have the lessons sort of maybe at an earlier stage of their lives and their family lives than I had, because my family had to wait until they were a bit older. And I'd really like to be able to share some of the things that have helped me to feel that I am good enough, and to help me get through all those trials and tribulations that bringing up children can bring. So the times when you really feel at your wit's end, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to help your children, you don't know what the answer is, and the way we feel about that, and the fears that we have. So often we end up waking up in the middle of the night with terrible feelings of fear for our children. And I'm here because I want to help people address those fears. I want to help get to the root of what's going on for people. And if any of you have read the book by Susan Jeffers called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, you'll know that in the opening chapters she actually looks at why we feel fear. And she says it's because ultimately every fear comes down to the same thing, which is that we don't think that we're going to cope. We worry because we think that we're not going to be able to cope with whatever life is going to throw at us. And we're really fearful, and we don't dare to try and do things because we're frightened about things going wrong. And we're often frightened for our children as well. We're frightened about things going wrong in their lives. Hi Saz, it's really nice for you to join me, thank you. Yeah, so we're really fearful, and it's because we think we can't cope. But underneath that feeling of thinking that we can't cope, I believe there's actually an even deeper layer to that. And we believe that we can't cope because we don't believe that we are enough. We don't believe that we can be resourceful enough. We don't believe that we have enough in us and enough around us to be able to cope with whatever life throws at us. And that's why I've called this business The Good Enough Mum, because ultimately I believe we can be good enough, and sometimes we need support. We're not supposed to do this journey alone. We're supposed to do it with other people, and that's part of the reason why I'm here, because I want to be able to support everybody who's in this place of needing help. Obviously, I say everybody, I can't help everybody, but maybe the people that find me who need me, that I'll be able to support them. So to help people to know that in actual fact they are good enough, and in their parenting that they are good enough. And Saz has just said that she shared the video, and so I just want to say thank you for those of you that do that, and I appreciate that you watch the video. So that's me. I'll be coming back on a weekly basis at 9:15 every Tuesday, as much as possible, to be able to share what I'm hoping to do with the business. And I'd be really interested if anybody does watch the video and has some ideas as to what sort of services they'd like and how I could help them. Then please do leave a comment underneath the video, because I'd love to read any feedback that you've got. Thanks, Saz. Thanks for your support. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you again next week. Thank you. Bye.